First of all, Jim, I just want to thank you for taking time out of your schedule to come here and set the record straight for us on a few things. I know you've got a deep history with Dallas retirement, and I've got a few questions I want to run through.
Okay.
First of all is you were a young man back in 1947 when Dallas retirement started. In fact, it was called, what, Dallas Home for the Aged
Yes.
back then?
Right.
So, but your father, he was right in the middle and really involved. Tell us what you remember back in that very early beginning. And I've got that special story coming, but tell us what kind of your impressions were when the things were first starting out.
Well, obviously, at 11 years old, I really didn't care and didn't really realize what everything was. As a matter of fact, I didn't know until we had the 70th anniversary celebration that my father signed the Articles of Incorporation. Had no idea. But I knew it was going on, but that's about it.
Okay. All right, so the story that I've heard over and over again, which is just downright famous, has to do with the story about a memorable amount of cash that your father brought home. Give us the details on that.
Well, I'm assuming that he was the treasurer, but I don't know that to be true. But on a Friday afternoon after 3 o'clock, because banks closed on 3 o'clock on Fridays, he came home with a shoebox full of cash. And I don't know for sure how much it was, but it was a shoebox full of cash, which was more money than any of us had ever seen together at one time. And he was just frightened to death that he had all this cash in the house, and he hardly slept all weekend until he could get that down to the bank on Monday. that left an indelible memory on my life.
That was back when you were, what, about 11 years old
I was,
or so?
yeah.
So now let's jump forward a little bit. You eventually became a board member. You're currently on the retirement foundation board, and you're also one of our residents now. So given your long history with DRV, what do you consider to be the major milestones that this community has gone through over the last 70 plus years?
That's an interesting question. I'm not quite sure how to do that. When it started, I know for sure that no one in the starting group of people could ever envision what it's turned out to be. But there were several highlights when they built the building after the first home was too small, which I think was sometime in the 50s, but I'm not sure. But it's the original impact and what the program was designed to be is to take care of elderly people as they needed help in their elder years. Had no idea that I would be one of those. and the fact that I'm now a resident here is way beyond my anticipation, but I think providing a good place to live has been a great thing.
So now, you were a member of the Dallas Mennonite Brethren Church for many years and until it closed back in 2004.
Right.
What do you think was the significance of and importance of the church's involvement in DRV throughout the years?
Well, it's provided the basis of what the organization is about, is to take care of people with a loving and welcoming place to live. And I think all the values that were started in those organizations is invaluable to the organization.
Okay, now at the end I want to just kind of open this up. Is there any other special event or milestone or memories that come to your mind that you might think we'd be interested in hearing about, that kind of fill in some of the gaps on the history of DRV?
Well, it's interesting to me that the oldest property on our campus now is the Village Apartments. I was on the board when that was started, and that was designed for persons that were, we thought at the time, 65 and 70. it was interesting that it became someplace where people didn't think about until 70 or 80. And what's really interesting to me is when we built that building with relatively small rooms, it was a perfectly good facility for the people that were looking for that kind of help at that time. And as the years went by, it became too small, wanted to be bigger, different amenities, and when the talk of the lodge came about, it was a tremendous difference, and it leads me to believe that each generation has the things that they want, and that our generations, as they're getting older, are more want something bigger, want something nicer, and I think we've been able to respond to that well, and it's going to continue to change, as I'm sure will happen over the years. And which direction it goes, I probably won't have to worry about it.